Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is straight out of Boston here, aka the King of Boston, and today we are back for episode 25 of the Around the League series, and today we are doing the Boston Celtics. And if you guys don't know, you can probably figure by my YouTube name, but I am a very big Boston Celtics fan. They're usually my favorite team in basketball, so I have a lot to say about them. I only got 7 minutes, so let's get right into it. Now, the Boston Celtics have been one of the more inconsistent and flaky teams in basketball this season. They've had stretches where they go on 6-7 game win streaks, then 6-7 game losing streaks. Then they, win 3 or 4 games against very good teams and lose a game, to like the Charlotte Bobcats by, 25 points or something like that a couple weeks back. I mean, this team is just so flaky, and it's hard to figure out what they can do in the playoffs. I think, and I'm a Celtics fan, so you know what, call me biased if you want, I think that a healthy Celtics team with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, not Rajon Rondo, I know he's gone, but if Kevin Garnett's healthy, if Paul Pierce is rested, if Jeff Green is, I don't even know why I brought him up, but if this team is healthy and they play like they have played at times this year, they can beat anyone in the East except the Heat. And I've said it before, no one is going to beat the Heat. I don't care if the Knicks win another 15 game, well, actually, that would change my mind. But I don't think anyone's beating the Heat. And the way the Knicks are playing right now, I don't know if anyone except the Heat is going to beat the Knicks. But I think that the Celtics can beat the Knicks if Kevin Garnett is healthy. And they've tailed off a little bit. Doc Rivers has said, you know what, I'm done worrying about playoff seeding. I'm just going to rest. KG's not actually hurt, guys. KG's banged up, but he could play right now if he wanted to. He's resting, and it's the smartest move Doc Rivers can do. Doc Rivers is one of the best coaches in basketball, and he's very smart with this stuff, and he's going to rest Paul Pierce, too. Paul Pierce has an exaggerated sprained ankle. He could have played, the other night against Memphis if he wanted to. Minnesota. But you know what? He doesn't need to, because the Celtics don't care. They don't care about playoff seeding. They're not in it for that. They're in it for a ring, and this team, they're not going to get one this year. And, it's hard for me to say as a Celtics fan. I didn't think they were going to get one last year, but they were about 12 minutes away from one going into that fourth quarter with a very close game before the Heat kind of blew it open in the fourth. But, but this is it's a solid team. And the reason that I think they can beat anyone but the Heat is because they have beaten everyone except the Heat. And they have beaten the Heat this year, but, the Heat have just gotten so much better. But they've beaten the Knicks. They've beaten the Pacers, they've beaten the Nets, they've beaten the Bulls, they've beaten, I don't know if they'll get by teams like the Bulls. I think they can beat the Nets, I think they can beat the Pacers. I think the Bulls and the Knicks are their two toughest matchups outside of the Heat, but anyway, let's kind of delve into this roster. Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce, obviously two veterans. I'm pretty glad they didn't trade either of them. I would have loved to do the Eric Bledsoe and DeAndre Jordan deal, but you know what? It is what it is, and the team is much more enjoyable to watch with Kevin Garnett out there. And, they're not bad with Kevin Garnett out there, so I think it was a good idea not to trade either of those guys. Let Paul Pierce retire as a Celtic. Let Kevin Garnett retire as a Celtic. They'll probably hang both those guys' numbers up in the Raptors one day, especially Paul Pierce's. Kevin Garnett's a little bit more of a question just because he's only been with the team for 6 years, but anyway, that's besides the point. Let them retire as Celtics, and I think that's the right thing to do. Now, get into the rest of this roster where it gets really interesting. Now, Jared Sullinger, Avery Bradley, and Jeff Green are probably my 3 favorite players on this team. They're 3 young guys. Jeff Green's still pretty young. He's only 26 years old. Bradley's 22. Sullinger is 21. 3 young guys that they can build around for the future, and I'm really hoping that they do. I love Avery Bradley. He's one of the, if not the best lockdown defenders in the NBA. Jeff Green is explosive at times. We saw him drop 43 against the Miami Heat. He had a terrible start to the year, but in his defense, he was just getting over his heart aneurysm surgery. He was just kind of getting back into basketball. It's a mental thing, too, when you have such a heart surgery and your life is almost taken away from you like that. That was a life-threatening injury. And, you know what, for everyone criticizing this guy at the beginning of the year, I was one of them. I was not a big fan of this guy at the beginning of the year, but he's really turned my mind around about him. And I love Jeff Green. Jared Sullinger is a guy that a lot of people are worried about right now. He fell through into, 27th or something like that? Not 27th, like 21st, 22nd to the Celtics because of his back. And he had back surgery, and he's out for the year because of his back. But from what I've heard, that surgery is actually a surgery to kind of hopefully fix that problem and help him stay healthier in the long term. So if that's the case, I'm all for that back surgery. He's out for the year, all well. You know what? It is what it is. Can't do anything about it at this point. If Sullinger comes back and his back isn't an issue, look out, man. This guy is a double-double machine if he develops correctly. And this is one of the reasons why I didn't want them to trade KG. Who better to mentor your power forward of the future than Kevin Garnett, one of the 5 greatest power forwards of all time? Maybe the greatest, him or Tim Duncan, probably the greatest defensive power forwards of all time. I mean, who better? Seriously, I can't. I mean, it's like a match made in heaven, and I'm so glad that Sullinger's here, you know, for the future. He's a really good player, and I'm really excited about his future if he stays healthy. Get into the rest of this roster. Rajon Rondo, widely considered one of the elite point guards in the NBA. I do think he's overrated. I wouldn't have minded if they traded him, you know, after he did tear his ACL, and they still played pretty well because, you know, with Rondo, he kind of just holds the ball around for 22 seconds, gives it to somebody for a contested 3, and it's really not fun to watch. It's poor offense. Without him, the ball moves around a lot better. The defense is a lot better because Courtney Lee gets a start with Avery Bradley in that backcourt, so I really like that combination. But you know what? We'll see how Rondo comes back from his ACL injury. I think that I've given up hope on him ever becoming a 15 to 20 point scorer. It's like if he couldn't have done it this year, I don't know when he could have done it because it looked like his jump shot was starting to fall. He was hitting 3s occasionally. You know, I just don't know if it's ever going to happen if it didn't happen this year. So I've kind of given up hope on that. Obviously, one of the best passers in the league, one of the best playmaking point guards in the league. But you know what? We'll see how he is when he comes back. As for the rest of the guys, I like Courtney Lee, I like Jordan Crawford, and I like Terrence Williams. I'm glad that they got all of those 3 guys. I think Williams is signed for next year. I don't know about Crawford, and I think Lee might be signed for next year. I'm not too sure. We'll see on that. Shavlik Randolph's looked good at times. He went to Duke. I didn't know that. He was signed recently to a 10-day contract, and then was signed to the rest of the year. He's looked good at times. Jason Terry, Brandon Bass, 2 guys I really dislike on this team. Both have like 3-year contracts for no reason. There's no pass Bass and bad decision Terry or bad shot Terry, whatever you want to call them. Both mind-numbing to watch. And as for the rest of these guys, really not much to say. Fab Melo, we'll see how he pans out. And DJ White and Chris Wilcox, you know, whatever. I like Chris Wilcox, but anyways, besides the point. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy. Like I said, I think this is a team that could beat anyone except the Heat in the playoffs, but I don't think they will. I think they'll be a first or second round exit. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you did enjoy, and as always, I'm out. Peace.